Oh, good? Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon. In accordance with sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, there's still some echo. I wait. Okay. So, the meeting of Committee of Adjustment of City of Toronto is called to order. The Committee of Adjustment consider applications for variances from the provisions of the zoning that applies to property and permission to extend or alter lawful non-conforming uses and also to as consent to serve property to create new lots. My name is Yim Chen, and I will be chairing this afternoon's hearing. And I also like to introduce our panel member for this afternoon, Mr. Peter Reed and Mr. Ryan Bissonette, Mr. Dylan Reed, and also Mr. Dino Labardi. And our Deputy Secretary Treasurer is Sabrina Salatino. And I'd also like to acknowledge land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississauga, the Credit, the Anastabi, and the Chippewa, and the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, as now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 of the Mississauga's Credit. Committee of Adjustment public hearings are now conducted in a hybrid in-person and virtual format. Some applicants or participants will make their submission in person and others will be online. And the meetings are also streamed on the Toronto YouTube channel. Anyone want to view the hearing can watch on YouTube. Those who want to participate virtually and have registered in advance will be connecting with their computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone, and have the options of participating via video or audio only. All virtual participants will be automatically muted on entry, and when the item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. We also ask you to mute all your other devices while you call to speak. And those participating by video will be temporarily upgraded to panelists when your item is being held. During this time, your camera will be enabled. You will be only visible during your 5-minute speaking time. At all other times, your video will be disabled and you will be reinstated as attendee. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. Those participating through WebEx are not allowed to use share screen or any other panelist control during their video appearance. How to receive a decision of the committee. People attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the decision must fill out a decision request card, and those participating virtually need to submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, email address, because the Committee of Adjustment and also the Toronto Local Appeal Body will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email. If you do not agree with the decision, you may be able to appeal the decision to the Toronto Local Appeal Body or some limited circumstance to the Ontario Land Tribunal. However, the provincial government amended the Planning Act and generally removed rights of third parties to appeal Committee of Adjustment decisions. Only the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, a specified person and public bodies, as those terms are defined in the Planning Act, are permitted to appeal decisions of the Committee of Adjustment. And the appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision. And the following is the hearing procedure. First, I will call each item in the order listed in the agenda. And when an application is not contested, the agent or applicant may proceed with their presentation if desired. When the committee does not require presentation, applicants are to advise the chair if they wish to speak to the committee, and the committee may ask questions or take the matter into committee for decision. and each speaker, including the applicant or agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to speak. And I will comment when you're reaching your 5 minutes. Any presentations or other materials you wish to submit to the committee must have been emailed in advance of the hearing, and staff and committee members cannot accept material at the hearing. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address, and please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and then make a presentation to the committee, and then please note the committee may not entertain revisions to the proposal at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if substantially revised to ensure that the revision is accurate and that all those entitled to notice are informed of the changes. And then the individuals, either in support or opposed to the application, will be invited to speak. Generally, we will ask the people in the room to start first, and then we will then move on to the online speakers. Committee members will ask questions of each speaker after they finish the presentation. When all the speakers are finished, the applicant or agent have an opportunity to rebut only those issues that are raised by the other speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion, and the application will be then taken into committee for decision. And at this point, I would like to know whether we have any declaration of conflict of interest for the afternoon session. No. All right, so we can move on. And then also, do we have any deferral requests or file to be closed?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. No files to be closed, and I see no deferral requests.
Oh, okay, so it means that we are ready for the first item in the afternoon. 16 is 205 Wychwood Avenue. This is to construct a new 3-story detached building with a houseplex with a front covered porch and a south side ground floor canopy. Third floor front and south side rear balconies on the roof of the second story, and serving units A, B, and C. A front and side rooftop deck shared by units A and B, and on the roof of the first story, a rear rooftop deck. And 3 rooftop staircases, a stair access enclosure, also to construct a rear 2-story detached auxiliary building containing 1 laneway street, abutting the laneway, with a grade patio along the west portion of the building. This will be a total of 4 residential dwelling units on this lot, 3 in the main building and 1 in the auxiliary building. We received minutes from this case has been deferred from April 15 to this year. And we have the minute of that hearing and copy of the survey, site plan, floor plan elevations, cover letter, and also planning rationale from the agent, also presentation material from the agent. We have received comment from Urban Forestry, and also we have received a list of oppositions. 203 and 207, sorry, 207 and 203, yeah, Wychwood Avenue, and also 62, 58, 62 Kenwood, and 200 Wychwood, and 201, 216 from Wychwood. And we are ready for, and that's one without address, Chan Cohen. And we're ready for the agent, and I believe...
you, Madam Chair, we have the agent here in person, and we have 5 speakers in opposition, in person as well as online.
Okay, so you do have still 5 people would like to speak to this application. So please give us your name and address, and when you're ready, we'll get a presentation from you. Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Greg Ewens with Batory Planning and Management. I've signed in over there. The address is Box 4, 1550 Kingston Road, Suite 1345, L1V6W9. And thank you. I'm here today requesting variances for a 3-story triplex at 205.
Just wait a second. We don't want to, no, let's stop the clock. Let's start from the 5 minutes. I just want to make sure this is the material you want to bring it up. That's the presentation.
Thank
right?
you, Madam Chair. Yes,
So
yes.
I don't want you to watch this. Yeah, okay. When you're ready, we start. Okay.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, I'm here. This is the subject site on which we're requesting variances for a 3-story triplex. There's also a laneway suite proposed as part of the development of this site, though it does not require any variances. It's as of right. The site's on the east side of WYCHWOOD Avenue. It's north of Louise, and it backs onto a public laneway running north-south. Next slide, please. The area, there's an existing 2-story building on the site, or 1.5 stories, as you can see there, the white building. The context includes a variety of residential buildings, 2 and 3 stories in height, as well as a 4-story apartment immediately across the street. There's a mix of modern and older styles, front and rear balconies at various levels, and other characteristics that reflect elements of our proposal. Next slide, please. The site is designated neighborhoods. It's zoned RM. And the planning framework permits a variety of low-rise housing forms, including multiplexes, low-rise apartments, as well as garden and laneway suites. Next slide, please. The proposal comprises a 3-story multiplex and a 2-story laneway suite. As I mentioned, there's 4 dwelling units in total on the site, and 0 parking spaces proposed in accordance with the zoning requirements. Next slide, please. The one interesting thing I'll note about this proposal, and I noted it when we deferred back in April, is that this is the result of 3 separate families getting together to purchase the property and develop a triplex for their 3 daughters, who are all, for their 3 daughters, one of whom is here today, and they're all family friends. The daughters are friends, and they all a desire to live in this neighborhood, which I understand it's a desirable neighborhood in the city. I think it's very much in the spirit of the intent of the EHON policy changes. Next slide, please. The application was deferred previously based on, the application was deferred previously based on comments from neighboring properties, as well as for us to clarify one of the encroachment variances. We took that time since the deferral to have a virtual community meeting on April 23rd. About 10 residents were in attendance, mostly surrounding neighbors. There were questions and concerns about trees, setbacks, building height, among other things. We talked about the process as well. It was a good meeting, and it helped inform a number of key changes that we made, along with the information from the letters we received. The changes, one of them shown here, we've revised the south side yard setback from 0 meters to 1.2 meters at the ground floor, which is the compliant dimension. And the back portion you see highlighted there at 0.45 meters for floors 2 and 3. We're showing fencing on the plans in red. My client's working with the adjacent neighbors, specifically the ones to the north, as they currently use part of the 205 property, the shared side yard, to access the rear yard. And the proposed building is actually set back further than the current building siting, and we're trying to make sure that there's no fencing there to impede that. Next slide, please. We've reduced deck encroachments. One of them entirely. On the south there, you can see in green that was reduced to comply with the bylaw, and the other one, to the extent of the side yard projection, we have screening shown on all balconies as well. Next slide, please. Good. The roof deck areas have been decreased. They've all been set back from the main walls to prevent overlook and privacy issues. Good. We added access from the middle unit to the roof deck, and that was partially to offset the reduced balcony on the lower level. And these changes have removed 2 of the variances. We note that the area has been split, as you see here. We've also, next slide, reduced the massing of the staircases to as great a degree as possible. The left shows the previous, the right shows how we've reduced them as small as possible while complying with the building code. Next slide, please. Our front and side setback variances are shown on the, next slide, please. Sorry. Next slide. These are the list of variances, including ones that have been removed. The front and side setbacks the front setback is pulled back from the current front of the house. The north side setback is also greater than what currently exists. Though the building is taller than what currently exists, the height is permitted by the bylaw, and there are no primary windows facing north. The south setback broadly complies with the 1.2 meter requirement. Only a portion of the second and third floors at the back of the site is set back 0.45 meters. Next slide, please. The reason why we have this part of the building where it is to maximize the number of 2- and 3-bedroom suites in the unit. It's very much an end-user type building, and that's consistent with multiplex policy 826 sub B2, which intends larger family size units. We have no rear setback, laneway, separation distance, landscaping, or length variances associated with the building. No trees are being removed or injured as a result of either of these buildings. I'll note that the side yard setbacks align with context in accordance with the multiplex policies. Next slide, please. If I could ask for 1 minute to finish, I'm sorry.
Sorry, maybe half a minute.
Half a minute works. We've reduced the first and the third floor balconies as shown on this slide, and the next one we're showing screening on those balconies as well. You can see the green areas are what the bylaw allows, the red areas are what projects. Next slide, please. Next slide. And you can see, previous slide, the roof areas have been reduced, and there's a characteristic of upper roof decks, including there's a 4-story building just to the south. You see at the top or the bottom left there, which has a roof deck and a 4th story to access those. In summary, the proposal before you reflects community and city staff input, which resulted in revisions that have reduced variances, removed variances, I think improved the project so that it fits better within context, especially regarding the front side yard setbacks, height, landscaping. City staff do not object to the proposal. In my view, the changes materially address neighborhood concerns, meets the 4 tests.
Thank you. Is it, so we hold our question to him?
Can I ask a few questions of clarification?
Just clarification, okay. All right, so let's go, yeah.
So just, I was just looking at the plans. It looks like the total height, including the staircases to the roof, is something like 12.49. Normally 11 meters, I think you said, was the maximum. I was just wondering why that didn't need a variance.
The stair enclosures are permitted projection under the bylaw. So the roof height, the height of the 3rd story complies, and the railings for the roof decks, which are all set back, and the stair accesses are permitted projections.
Okay, great, thank you. And it looked like the length was 20.75 meters, which is also more than I think usually is allowed for multiplexes. I was just wondering if you could speak to that.
That's correct, and that was flagged when we originally submitted back in March or February. This zone category does not have a length requirement for a multiplex building.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's very helpful.
Yeah.
And just so one last thing, my understanding is the laneway suite is as of right, even though it goes right to the southern property line?
Yes, we have a zoning review for the laneway suite. It's as of right. Laneway suites have a 0 side yard setback. Garden suites have a side setback.
But laneway suites don't.
Laneway suites do not. That's correct.
I think that's all just helpful to clarify before we go into the details. Thank you.
That's very good, because I was wondering. And actually, I just want to mention that the presentation is really, really good. The written one, I would say, if on page 2 of the cover letter, he has actually a chart showing the difference, the improvement since the last hearing. And I find that very, very useful, just because I was asking a whole bunch of questions before I discovered that. So yeah, if we want to refer to those changes, are quite useful. Any other clarification? Because we still have some questions, but I'm so sure later we can ask. So we will listen to the oppositions now, and we'll bring you back later.
Madam Chair, now we'll hear from the owner from 203 Wychwood Avenue here in person.
Mm-hmm. Okay, 203, yeah.
Good afternoon, committee members and attendees. I'm Melinda Benjamin. I'm from 203 Wychwood Avenue.
Okay. So, okay.
Please accept my gratitude for the opportunity to express my objection to the proposal as it stands. Like many homeowners, my home is my biggest investment. I started from the bottom and now I'm here. I object to having a structure 17 inches from my property line, variance 9, towering over with a view into my third bedroom skylight with windows emitting light at night through that skylight. The bylaw requires 1.2 meters. I object to the idea that we should compare how close houses in the neighborhood are and how they were built 20, 30, 50 plus years ago before this proposal to justify approval of not complying to current bylaw, approval of complying to current bylaw standards. I urge the committee to hold the new building to comply with all the applicable bylaws. My lot is 17 feet wide. The width of the proposed site is 25 feet, 8 feet wider than my lot. 8 feet is just short of half of my lot. These minor variances are not minor to me, when inches will cost me to spend more in getting workers to work in tighter, smaller spaces, not having that have canopies and balconies to work around. A canopy will be located 4 inches from the lot line. The bylaw requires 1.14 meters, variant 7. This proposal is for a new building, replacing a pre-existing non-conforming house, and cannot be compared to those setbacks from 100 years ago. 1.2 meter setback for a new build is possible. It's obtainable on a 25-foot lot. I object to having a laneway house built right on my property line with no setback. Dialogue is essential. However, I object to Barry Godfrey coming to my house unannounced at night on May 4th, stating that my house A is on his property line and B, that he could build a fence between the houses, cutting off access to the north side. On December 9th, there was a hose attached to 205 Wychwood that burst. At 10 p.m., I had to go out there and shut off the water because I had access to the north side. I object to any design that causes unnecessary encroachment, deprive me of privacy, a sense of security, and enjoyment of my home. These choices are not necessary to build affordable housing on a 25-foot lot. I know because my husband and I built an affordable house on a 17-foot lot. As a widow of 2 years and a retiree on a fixed income, I object to any proposal that would make the cost of repairing my home higher. In particular, I'm concerned about the paved walkway between the buildings. The water is going to flow right against my house. I object that a picture of my vehicle on my private lot is used in a presentation that's posted online. I know that's not illegal, but it would have been very respectful to ask me if a picture of a vehicle on my lot would be part of a presentation. As many of us know, home ownership is difficult, and keeping it is proving to be just as difficult. We're learning now how the new zoning regulations may impact our homes. The Ben Mulrooney Show had a very informative segment about 63 Station Road. I would like my family to have the ability to adapt to the new zoning regulations without impediments. Please reject this proposal as it is. I started from the bottom, now I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you. Just wait a sec. Let me see whether we have questions for you. No? Okay, thank you. Yes.
To you, Madam Chair, we have our next speakers from 207 Wychwood Avenue. We have 2 speakers from the same address
Oh, okay.
here in person.
Yeah, I can tell if they, yeah. So you planning, both of you want to speak or just one?
We'll see.
Oh, no, it's fine. You can both speak, but the time is still just 5 minutes. You have to share the 5 minutes. That's
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'm Alan Silverman, my wife Yvette Mathias. We're at 207 Wychwood. We are directly adjacent on the north side to the proposed development. So obviously this concerns us greatly. I want to begin by saying that we support 100% what has just been expressed by Ms. Benjamin at 203 Wychwood. We are not opposed to development, and we appreciate gentle density, which is the common situation on Wychwood at the present time. Mm-hmm. And even though the number of variances has been reduced from 14 to 11, we still have significant concerns. Mm-hmm. So let me begin by saying why we consider it to be significant. So on variance number 2 and 9, this is twice what is allowed by the bylaw. In 3, 4, 6, and 10, almost twice what is allowed by the bylaw. In numbers 5 and 7, almost 3 times what is allowed by the bylaw. And numbers 8 and 11, significantly higher than the allotted by the bylaw, from 0.2 to 3.12. So this is significant, not minor. To summarize what this means for us, 1, because it is much bigger, larger, higher than, closer to us than what is required, that raises the issue of privacy. Secondly, for the same reasons, it has huge impact on the light in our building. We now have wonderful views, both east and south, and this will be severely affected by these proposed changes. And finally, the character of the street. I think Ms. Benjamin has clearly pointed out that this is uncharacteristic of the street. I just wanted to comment on something that was said by the proponent at the beginning. We welcome family members of the owners, and we are very friendly neighbors, but that issue is not relevant to the discussion at hand. They refer to key changes that they have made from 14 to 11. I think I have clearly pointed out these are not key changes, they are minor changes, but the overall impact is significant and major. Secondly, there was reference that no trees would be injured. Well, right now, it would be impossible to build the laneway house, 2-story laneway house, without significantly cutting down several of the major branches of this tree. So therefore, dear committee members, thank you for listening, and we are in opposition to this proposal.
Okay, 30 seconds.
Yeah, you still have some time, 1.5, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, we have
Just
wanted to add, we have windows facing the south, double windows,
Okay.
and double windows facing the east. Right now, we get tremendous light coming through those windows, and we get a view of trees. With the extension in the back and exceeding the variance, we will be looking at a building instead of the trees. And our garden is something we take great pride in. And again, we will be, instead of being able to see other gardens, it'll be impacted by having a big, a building in the back beyond what is allowed in the bylaws. So I just wanted to add, it has a very direct impact. So these variances are not just numbers. They represent, I think, significant impact on the people living next door.
Okay. All right, let me check whether they have questions. Yes, no, no, okay, thank you, yeah.
We, Madam Chair, will now move to the speaker at 196 Wychwood Avenue. We have one more speaker here in person, but they would like to speak in the last. They have requested that. So now we'll be moving on our
okay.
online speakers.
All right.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chen Cohen. I live at 196 Wychwood Avenue, directly across the street from the 205 Wychwood development. And today I'm speaking in opposition to this minor variance application. Firstly, I want to apologize to the members of the committee for not submitting a formal letter. Can you hear me?
Yes, sorry. I just want to make sure the clock is starts. Okay.
Perfect. So firstly, I want to apologize for not submitting a letter in advance of today. I was traveling for work and unfortunately missed the deadline. By way of context, I'm a partner at a prominent architecture and design practice. And although I'm fairly new to this street and neighborhood, I have taken the time over the several past weeks to carefully review the application materials including the latest planning rationale submitted on May 29. In speaking with neighbors about this application, it became very clear to me that many people are concerned and do not necessarily have the background or the skill set to read architectural drawings to fully understand the scale of what is being proposed. And that's why I submitted, if you could go to the late material submission, I prepared a sketch just simply showing the elevational change between the neighbor at for 205 and 203, showing the relative change between this development. The comparison is important, even with the roof access areas pushed back from the front, and even with the sloped roof line that appears intended to reduce the perceived height. The proposed building remains significantly taller than its immediate context as shown in the sketch. You can see compared to 203 Wychwood, the proposed development represents approximately 47% increase in height. And in my view, that's not minor. It clearly illustrates how oversized this proposal is for the site and for this part of Wychwood. I want to be clear that my concern is not with gentle density or with the multiplex housing in principle. I understand and support the city's broader goal of creating more housing options in our neighborhoods. My concern is with this specific proposal on this specific narrow site and with the number and nature of variances being requested. The application is being presented as a 3-story triplex with a laneway suite for a total of 4 dwelling units. However, the proposal still requires 11 variances. These are not minor technical adjustments. They include reduced front and side yard setbacks, porch and canopy encroachments, balcony encroachments, and roof decks above 3rd stories, which are not permissible. Taken together, these variances create a built form that is simply too intense for the site and too impactful on adjacent properties, as you've heard from the neighbors. I'm particularly concerned about the proposed side yard setbacks. The zoning requires 1.2, but the proposal seeks to reduce those down. Some older homes in the neighborhood, including my own, may have historically narrow setbacks, but these conditions were generally established long before the current zoning standards, and a setback of minimal size beside a 3-story multi-unit building is a very different condition. It directly affects privacy, access, maintenance, light, and the relationship with adjacent homes. I'm also strongly concerned about the proposed balconies and roof decks. Again, these are not minor design features. They are elevated outdoor amenity spaces associated with a multi-unit building. Even with the screening, roof decks and upper level balconies can create overlook, noise, lighting, and privacy impacts for adjacent rear yards and upper story windows. Screening may reduce some direct views, but it does not address the full lived impact of people gathering above neighboring properties. The planning rationale refers to 216 Wychwood as a precedent of an existing rooftop, and it was pointed out earlier today in the first speech. However, that comparison does not properly acknowledge the different site conditions. At 216 Wychwood, there are driveways on both sides of that house, which provide greater separation from neighboring properties. That creates a very different condition in terms of sight lines, lighting, noise, and privacy than what is being proposed at 205, where the building is much tighter. The applicant has revised the proposal from 14 variances down to 11, but in my view, the core impacts remain. The height, the depth, number of units and bedrooms, front yard setbacks, north yard, and rear setback remain largely unchanged. The application still represents an overdevelopment of the site. I also have concerns about the clarity of what is being presented to the committee. The application is described as a triplex plus a laneway suite. However, the drawings show 3 units in the main building, with 2 of those units containing basement kitchens and separated basement areas accessed by contained stairwells and doors. That type of separation is not a requirement by code for a single dwelling unit, and it raises a legitimate question about whether these basement areas could later function as separate apartments. I'm not asking the committee to speculate about intent. However, I am asking the committee to consider the foreseeable functional intensity of the development that is being approved. If a building is designed in a way that could easily function as more units and more separate occupancies than described, then the impacts have not been properly assessed. It matters because the proposal presented as a triplex plus a laneway is capable of functioning more like a simplex.
Thank
I'll
you.
leave it at that for today. So thank you.
Thank you. Very good presentation. Thank you. Yeah, and just wait. Yeah, we do have some question for you. Just yeah. Okay. Yeah, she's still connected, right? we have questions for her. Okay.
Thank you, and thank you for that deputation. The illustration on the screen is extremely helpful, and I certainly appreciate it. I have a couple of questions. So, in reference to this diagram that you have, that we have on the screen, you referred to the height, and I think you made a comment that the proposed structure exceeds the permitted height. Am I correct in saying that that's what you stated?
So the allowable height, as I think was pointed out earlier today, we know is 11 meters. And you can see that the, let's call it front elevation of the new development meets that requirement. However, the pop-outs or the encroachment of the roof access that, yes, they've set back from the front elevation and slope to try to minimize impact, do exceed in terms of occupying the terrace. It's allowed to have those, let's call it built outs as we know, but not occupying terraces on a third story in that way. So what the diagram shows you is, and that's an approximate measurement of the neighbor 203 based on a peaked at the top of the peaked roof. And you can still see relative to the top encroachments, you're still 47% taller relative to their neighbor. That's a massive increase in terms of height.
But you will agree that there is no height variance before this committee?
Correct. The allowable is, but not for an occupied terrace.
Okay.
You're occupying an area that isn't allowed.
Okay. Second question. We've heard from the other deputants as well that there is a concern about views. And are you aware that the City of Toronto official plan does not protect views in an urban setting?
Yes, those have changed recently.
Right. Okay. And then the third question is, you made a comment about setbacks and used the amount of 1.2 meters. And I just want to remind everyone of the recent approval by the province of Ontario Regulation 257/2025, which reduces the required setback to a structure by 10%. So it's no longer 1.2 meters here, it would be 1.05. I know that's a minor reduction, but it needs to be pointed out as well.
That's absolutely fair. Even with that, again, to the statistics of the revised changing in zoning, it's still a variance and a pretty significant one when you consider 11 in its totality. I just want to be clear and say, I think a multiplex can still very well exist on the site, but it can be designed to meet the city requirements and bylaws that have been established for neighborhoods of this scale and stature. Again, the issue isn't at hand putting in a multi-unit dwelling to support density. The issue is the scale in which they're going about it. Again, if they met all of the bylaws, we wouldn't even be here today to discuss it, right?
Yeah.
And that could have been done from the beginning.
Exactly. But on the other hand, they do have the right to go for application for variances. I just want to ask you questions. The applicant did have
Oh, that's sorry,
Oh, sorry.
Madam Chair. It's
I thought you
okay.
haven't
No,
finished.
that's it for me. I just wanted to say thank
Okay.
you for those answers. Very much appreciated.
Okay, thank you. Also, I'm so sorry. I thought to interrupt. I just want to have a very quick question. Is that the applicant did hold neighborhood meeting on April 23rd. Did you go?
No, I wasn't able to. I traveled quite a bit for
because
my work, so I wasn't
you
there.
raised really good questions, and I thought that maybe that was the time to discuss some of these very fundamental differences. And I thought that
No, absolutely. I would have loved to be there. Again, even being here today with a work schedule, I just want that to be clear. At 2 p.m. for people who aren't retired is challenging. I've made and cleared my schedule to be here because I want to represent the voices of our neighbors and myself in terms of the development. It's very challenging to be at all of these meetings. So my apologies for not submitting earlier
That's okay.
and being
Yeah, I just-
present, but that's part of the context of having a job.
Yeah. I just want to know because it is
Yes.
to the applicant's view, it was a good meeting. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So I leave it at that. And then any other question to this speaker. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah,
Thank you, everyone.
yeah, okay. All right.
Madam Chair, we'll hear from next speaker from 201 Witchwood Avenue.
Okay, 201 Witchwood, yeah.
Miriam, you have been unmuted. Miriam, can you hear us? To you, Madam Chair, I'll try calling the speaker by the time we can hear from our last speaker here in person.
Yeah, we might, yeah.
Speaker from 200 Witchwood Avenue.
Yes.
Can you come please to the podium?
Hi, welcome. Thank you.
Hi. First, can you put up the location map on the screen? Oh, good, thanks. Okay. My name is David Lampert, and Mimi Beck and I live at 200 Witchwood, and I'm speaking on behalf of both of us. Our house is diagonally across from the property that the application's being made for, diagonally across from 205. Well, we believe a house is simply too big. You've heard the other speakers who are objecting, and we support everything that they're saying. And we simply believe the house is just too big for the space allotted for it. And 11 variances sounds like a lot of variances to us. You know, we haven't been before this committee before. We don't know exactly how it operates. We're new to this. But when we hear that the applicants are requesting 11 variances, I think that's a strong signal that this is a very complex project. And when we look at it in detail, when you're looking at the setbacks in various ways, the front, the side, the laneway house, the roof decks, the balconies, the canopies, it pushes out in every direction. And that's why the applicants are requesting so many variances. And I think that's a signal that it is too big, it is too complicated, that it pushes out too far. What I wanted to put on the screen for the location map is to ask the committee to focus. The applicants have talked about the context, and other people have too. But a key point here is that the application should be seen in the very specific context where the house is going to be located, which is on the east side of Witchwood. And there's a fundamental difference between the east side and the west side of that block. The west side, as you'll be able to see from the location map, the west side, the setbacks, the front setbacks are substantially larger, roughly twice as large as the setbacks on the east side. And as I think Chen Cohn pointed out, on the west side, you do have driveways. She's talked about the distinguishing this from 216 Witchwood, but I would say also the houses, it's important to note that there's a lot more space on the west side than there is in the east side. Not just the length of the setbacks from the front setbacks, the front yards, the size of it, but also the number of driveways all the way up the block on the west side. The east side, the houses are much more tightly compressed and there are no driveways. So the space, to us, it seems like this is a large house being wedged into a small space. And even without any variances, it would feel and look like a large house. But with all the variances, or any number of the 11, it's going to be that much more, to say, intrusive. And what it does is it crowds the adjacent neighbors. And so it wants more amenities for the people who are going to live there, but at the same time, it does it at the expense of the adjacent neighbors. And we simply feel that's just not right and not appropriate. Again, repeat that what Chen Cohn is saying about it's not appropriate to compare this house and the narrow spaces on any of the houses, or particularly the west side, with the narrow space that this house would create between it and its neighbors. Because those houses, many of them on the west side, and even on the street, were built before the bylaw was in effect. And what we feel very strongly about is that the bylaw has to be taken seriously. And of course, it is your job. That's why you're here, to allow variances, which are minor. But overall, it's to give the bylaw the respect that it deserves. And just to bring out one example, I think one of the panel members just pointed out there's a new provincial regulation that says it's instead of 1.2 is the maximum required, it's 1.05. But for the side setbacks on either side, especially on the north side, it's for the whole house. On the south side, it's for the top 2 floors. It would be, instead of and now it's, I guess, 1.05 meters, it's 0.45 meters. So even with the new requirement, that's 50% less than what the requirement is under the bylaw. And it's not just that it's 50% less, it leaves the adjoining neighbors with very little space. And I can tell you, as others have mentioned, doing maintenance. We live in one of the houses that's featured in the presentation by the applicants. And we have a narrow space and we have an older house. But it's difficult to do maintenance on a house with such a narrow setback. So I'm asking or urging the committee is, why create such a problem that the bylaw was meant to remedy? That's why the bylaw requires the setbacks. The distance of the setbacks, to have respect for the neighbors and consideration for the neighbors, and this application would undercut that essentially completely. So that's why we oppose that.
Thank you, yes.
Okay.
So this way said, yeah, please, go ahead. We have some questions here.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for that deputation. Much appreciated. You made some interesting points. So you started off by saying that you feel that this project, the structure is too large. I wanted to probe you on that aspect of it. So what we're talking about is density. And density is represented in the zoning bylaw by the term FSI, or floor space index, which is a ratio of the size of the building to the size of the lot. There are no variances before us for FSI, for building length or depth. I'm talking about the main house now. Building length or depth, exterior main wall height, and when we look at the laneway suite, there's no variances for separation between the main house and the laneway suite, or the height for the laneway suite. So can you just speak a bit more about your notion about overdevelopment, which is, I think, really what you're talking about, right, for this property?
Well, listen, I want to qualify my answers. This isn't my field, right? I'm just coming to it as an outsider, essentially, and saying, these people seem to want an awful lot, 11 variances. So what are each of those in turn? I don't completely necessarily understand. I mentioned, well, okay, you're talking about, one that came to mind was what Chen Cohen talked about in her presentation, and say, okay, they might technically meet the height requirements, but then you have the rooftop decks too, which jacks it up quite a bit further than that. So it pushes out from both sides. That's why I think it's a larger. When I was talking about the houses on the east side being tightly, they're tight to each other, right? There are no driveways there. They're just sort of chock-a-block. And so it pushes out to the sides when you have the very narrow setbacks on either side of the house. So that's bigger. What I talked about, okay, so it goes to the maximum height, but also the applicants are seeking a variance with respect to the front yard setback as well. So that, I think, it makes the house more intrusive as well. It's just, I wish I had more time to study it and answer. I can tell you about the process. You do this all the time, right? But for us, like as outsiders, to pick our way through each of these variances and say, what does this one mean? What does that one mean? It could be done a lot more clearly and a lot more simply, but you probably don't want to hear that from me because you hear it from a lot of other people and hear it often. Okay, so I'll leave today and I'll regret that I didn't give you a better answer.
No, great answer. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Last comment from me or question. So when you talk about the number of variances, I know that's something that those in opposition have raised. And also and I used the term earlier today, the quantification, in other words, how much of a degree of difference each of those variances might entail. Now, I know you're not going to know this, but again, I'll raise it. And we appreciate, most of the people that come before us are lay individuals. So we appreciate that coming here, giving their input in that. So the courts have determined, and case law has basically determined that when it comes to the test of minor, it's not just how many variances and the quantity within each variance. In other words, the difference in the numbers. It really comes down to impact. Can you speak about what you think the impact of this would be on you and your property?
Well, I think I should answer your question and talk about the impact on our property. It's not, I wouldn't say, a lot of it is a visual thing, right? And I'd say, well, that's the way the neighborhood going. And I say the east side, it's going to really jump out. It's going to look jarring, okay? And then it said, it probably sets a precedent for others. Somebody else buys a house and knocks it down and builds up something similar to that. And it changes the nature of the block, what it looks like. You know, I don't know if I'm trying to do something deceptive here, but we know our neighbors, right? Melinda Benjamin and Alan and Yvette, Alan Silverman and Yvette Matjes. And we feel for them. We think it's very unfair that, you know, as other people before you said, the city has relaxed conditions and made possible, you know, much more liberal, environment to build multiplexes. And both of these people said, you know, okay, we're not opposed to multiplexes, but why does it have to be like this at our expense? It's perfectly possible. And as Ching Kong mentioned, just without any variances and build a multiplex, do it. And you might even do more with the basement kitchens too, which I think the people beside them couldn't stop.
Okay, you answered the question already.
Yeah,
thank you. Yes.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
And any other question? Okay. Do we still have one more speaker, right?
Madam Chair, yes, we have one speaker from 201 Richwood Avenue. I'm seeing her online, but you're not able to hear. Miriam, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, good. Can you give us your name and address, please? Yeah.
Miriam, can you give us your name and address and go with your 5 minutes presentation?
I think we lost her.
She's online.
Susan, okay. Okay, Peter, we lost your video.
Easy.
Hello, Ms. Fetterman. We are going to unmute you, and then you're able to speak and provide your presentation for 5 minutes. Not there? Not working? Can we just try calling her? Okay, Ms. Fetterman, we are going to try calling you.
Yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair, we'll make this our final attempt, and then if we can't hear from her, we'll bring back the agent.
Did he submit some written letters? Then we can post it, put it on the screen if we cannot contact him. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. You did receive a letter of opposition, received June 3rd.
Yeah, so we can put that on the, yeah, this is the one, right? Okay. So we will try to call him one more time. Yeah.
Can you hear us, Miriam?
Hello? Am I unmuted now?
Yes, you're unmuted.
Oh, okay. I'm finally unmuted.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, good. Oh, good. It wasn't working very well. I had to do it by phone instead of the WebEx. Okay. So may I speak now?
Yes, you have 5 minutes, and give us your first and last name and your address. Yeah, please, to start. Yeah.
I'm at 201 Witchwood.
And your name is? Yeah.
Miriam Fetterman.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Now you have 5 minutes. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm a concerned neighbor who would be adversely impacted primarily by the excessive length and height of the proposed building and the consequent overlook and lack of privacy. However, I am also concerned that this application raises more questions than it answers and appears to suggest a lack of transparency. While calling the building a houseplex, the submitted drawings appear to depict a row of 3 attached 3-story townhomes that are not facing the street. Yet the zoning review being pursued is that of a triplex, with the 11 so-called minor variances for your consideration today, specifically the ones identified by the zoning examiner as failing to satisfy those requirements. In addition, although the plan clearly indicates that the building length, height, and density exceed what is permitted, no requests for variances for those parameters have been included in this application. And I heard that question being raised just a few minutes ago. Yeah, why is that not included? Overall, I agree with the opinions expressed by others that the collective variances are not minor in nature and that this proposal represents an attempt to shoehorn an inappropriately oversized development onto a lot unsuitable for that purpose and not in keeping with the character of the existing neighborhood. I respectfully request that you deny this application. Thank you.
Thank you. Just wait, see, we have questions for you. No? No? Okay, thank you. We do not have any questions for you. So now, I think all the speakers finished.
So, Madam Chair, yeah, we
Yeah.
are done with the speaker.
And then we can bring back the applicant, and I'm so sure you have noted down all the issues that they have raised. So you have 5 minutes to deliver your rebuttal.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've taken some notes here, and I appreciate everybody coming out to share their comments today. I'll just say we did a community meeting on the 23rd of April following the deferral. I'm glad we did it. Some of the people in this room were there. A number of them were. We met online then. It was nice to meet people in person today and talk further. There was a lot of questions about process, comments on the proposal. Ultimately, it was this is the point I was going to end with, but I think we brought along plans to that meeting that represented the changes we were looking at making before we resubmitted them. We made further changes after that meeting. It was a valuable meeting, and while I know there's still concerns, we really did try to change the proposal in ways to get at those concerns, to have regard for the as-of-right condition of the building, the intent of the clients in building this, and the intent of the operative policies. So to get to the matters that were raised to the north, regarding the setback, we pulled the building north setback from its current location. It's set back more. I note that an as-of-right condition is also very similar. A building with the same length, height, and basically setbacks can be built here today. There are no length or height variances. So in terms of the wall facing north, it's very similar. The associated impacts of the variances requested are effectively the same as an as-of-right development. But in consultation with the neighbors to the north, we're making sure not to put a fence there. We're making sure not to position windows to face into their existing south-facing windows. That was a deliberate change we made. The laneway suite is set back on the north side, I'll note, and the architect is working with urban forestry staff to ensure that the footing and foundation and approach to construction are not impactful to the tree as part of the permit that's required in forestry's condition. To the south, the majority of the setback meets the 1.2 meters in the bylaw. We look closely at the side yard context in the area. If staff can pull up slide 16 from my presentation, the geographic neighborhood context is characterized very much by narrow side yard conditions. You can see that in the mapping, and you can see that in a number of the images that we've shown. This is in accordance with the official plan policies which intend that new development reflect the prevailing characteristics of the building. That one there, thank you. Regarding privacy, the owner has advised that they're to the north, they're rebuilding a fence, but not doing so in a way that would impede access, which is currently enjoyed to the north. 201 WYCHWOOD made a comment about lack of transparency. I think we've actually gone to great lengths to communicate here. Perhaps my client knocked on doors too often, as was noted by one of the commenters. We had our community meeting. We've had subsequent conversations. As I said, it's been helpful. The basement kitchens. The proposal is to create a 3-story triplex. The units are going to propose to be divided via condominium. So each one of the units is proposed to be divided and separately conveyed. That's the plan. My understanding, having talked to my client about this, I messaged them during the speech from the neighbors. 2 of the families want to ensure there's opportunities for multi-generational living, aging parents potentially to live in the basement or them to live in the basement. The layouts don't suggest that these are separate units. While a 6-plex is permitted, that's not what we're proposing. That's subject to some different criteria, and it wasn't reviewed by the building department as that. If that's a concern, I'm happy to talk about ways we could rectify those concerns. Regarding height, I have concerns about the elevations shown by one of the speakers because they don't show the reality of the structure when viewed from the street. Looking at elevations is not a helpful way to look at perspective of a building once it's built, especially when the 4th level on this building, which isn't a story, it's the pop-ups that are set back and in and sloped, won't really be visible from a number of places on the street. In other places they will be, but the front-on elevation is not an accurate representation. And also the structure doesn't exceed the permitted height. Regarding setbacks, the front and north setbacks are, despite needing variances, greater than the current building. The south setback variance only relates to a small portion of the south end. There were a lot of comments about the side yard setbacks, and I want to restate that the prevailing context is an important policy point that we tried to base this on. 0.45 meters is actually a side yard that this committee would have seen a number of times. It's a permitted side yard in a number of residential zones, and there is 0.45 meter scaffolding that'll house construction in all of those instances. There's a concern about side yards setting precedents, but narrow side yards are one of the characteristics of this neighborhood, this immediate context. The roof decks at 216 WYCHWOOD, I note, are located at the front and the rear. They're accessed from a 4th story. Ours are not. There are no setbacks for those decks, but ours are set back from all the main walls. We have setbacks and screening on all of our balconies where permitted. Finally, a multiplex bylaw allows up to 8 balconies in a 4-plex, 2 per unit. It intends above-grade outdoor access for multiplexes. We're proposing screening on all those. The number of variances was a question that came up. 3 of them relate to setbacks, and the rest of them relate to front porch canopy and deck encroachments. They're very technical in nature. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I have some questions too. Go ahead, please. Yeah. Go ahead,
I have a bunch of questions. I guess one of the key issues people have is with those top 4 decks, right? Which is, you have to admit, a slightly unusual feature. I'm just wondering if you can speak to why you feel those are necessary. Like, if you remove those, I think it would remove a lot of the objections. So why do you feel that those top 4 decks are necessary?
So appreciate the question. We had a long conversation about that. The takeaway from it was that these are being purpose-built for the occupants of 3 families, the daughters of 3 families. They wanted to make sure they each had some outdoor space on the site that was their own, that they could access, that was contiguous to the unit. And this is the way to do it in a way that the roof decks are allowed by the bylaw. The variances are related to the means of access. And so that's where we ended up. What we decided to do, in contrast to the original plan, was move them back from all the main walls to make sure that there was screening. I'd be happy with screening conditions on the roof decks as well, though they are set back quite a ways, so you don't get the overlook impacts that would be the case on other roof decks, such as the ones at 216. But it's a lifestyle thing. It's something that was a request, and we felt it was reasonable given the design changes that we've tried to mitigate impacts associated with them.
So what's your proposal for Like, is it going to be privacy screen level guardrails around it, or is it low? Like, what are you envisioning, and what do you think would be most effective in terms of balancing the effect of massing versus privacy for the neighbors?
I think on the balconies where they're at the second and third levels, the screening that is shown on their plans, like it's the typical privacy screening facing the south,
I'm really
facing the
thinking
north.
about the top level.
On the top level, I just want to look at the roof plan and the setbacks on my screen here. So things like planters along the edges where they face all of the side lot lines or the front lot lines are the usual way that we try to ameliorate issues regarding overlook, in addition to the setbacks. So we're providing the setbacks and planters. If screens are requested to the north and the south, if that's something that you feel is appropriate, I would not object to that condition either.
Okay, but so the moment you're just proposing kind of guardrails, it wouldn't be as high as a full privacy screen.
Privacy screen would be 1.8 meters.
1.5.
No,
usually.
1.5 usually.
1.5.
But that's my question too.
What's your proposal for that? Is it guardrails that are like 1 meter or something?
Code compliant guardrails. Let me look at the elevations here.
3.6. I mean, like 3 feet 6.
3 feet, so like a meter.
They're 0.9, 3 feet. So so twice the height of that would be the roof screening to the south and north.
I don't really know if the neighbors are more concerned about massing or privacy, so maybe that's something you can talk to neighbors about. Would you be open to working with them on what their preferred? We would absolutely be. I think one of the reasons why my client went around and talked to people to the degree that he did is because his daughter is going to live in the building and they want to be good neighbors. Yeah. So we're happy to have those conversations. Okay, great. So I want to talk about the side yard setbacks, which are clearly one of the big concerns. On the north side, you're proposing 0.45 meters, which I think is slightly better than the current, although of course your building will be higher, so it'll still have some impact. What's the neighbor's setback at that location then on the north side? Do you know what their setback is, side yard setback?
Let me look at the survey. I don't have that off the top of my head. Right, it appears...
It's on the screen. I mean, that's some dimension.
It's comparable. I believe it's... I don't know if the survey has it dimensioned. Let me look. It looks to be about 0.45.
Okay.
It's
somewhat similar to what the neighbor has.
I would say, yeah, I would agree with that.
And on the south side, at the ground level, which is where the entrances are, what's the setback from the neighbor? Is it 1.2?
Yes,
So it's fully compliant at the ground level.
That's correct.
And it's also fully compliant for the first 2 units, right? That's also 1.2?
For the entirety of the first floor and for the first 2 units,
all the way up for the first 2 units?
Yes.
And it's only the third unit that cantilevers to 0.45?
Yes.
And is that kind of take place beyond the neighbor's actual structure, or is it kind of overlap with their structure a little bit?
That occurs partly at the rear of their structure and mostly toward the east of the rear of their structure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I have a couple of questions. Just regarding the rooftop patios, I'm not commenting on them. I just want to, my question is because one of the deputants mentioned that those enclosures, the stick-out enclosures, are not considered to be allowable heights if they go to a habitable space. I just want to have a clarification, only because to avoid extra variance. And then, but then when you presented to us that all those 3 enclosures are exempted from the height calculation, who's right, who's...
Certainly, Madam Chair, it's an important clarification and just goes to the fact that a lot of these variances are technical. So the stairwells, as they're proposed, are stair accesses to the roof and the enclosure of those stair accesses. So under the bylaw, they're permitted projections above the height. If it was habitable space, and the reason I note the example at 216 is because it was subject to variances. The 216, it went to the T-Lab as well. It's a 4-story building, and the 4th story is the deck access. So if we could have eliminated the variances for these stair accesses if we had a fourth story with habitable space that accessed the deck areas. And so we elected not to do that because I think that structure would invariably be larger than the stairwells.
Sorry, I want to correct myself, not habitable. I mean, I think she said occupiable. Yeah, occupied space, that means a deck. If it's just plainly roof, then those things are exempted. So, your clarification is very, very good because that's what I thought. You might miss some kind of variances.
One more thing, Madam Chair. When the original application came in, there were a few questions from neighbors about matters that didn't appear in the requested variances. There was the height, for instance. And so we talked with the zoning examiner, and we have email correspondence on that to confirm that the height did comply, to confirm that there were no variances beyond the ones that we had requested. So we made sure to double check that.
Yeah. The other question about those terraces, I see your roof plans is true. It's been set back. Can you tell us approximately how, in average, because they change a little bit, some are bigger, but the smallest setback is about 2 or 3 feet from the edge of the roof, or what? Do you agree?
Yes, they're all the setbacks. To the north, the setbacks are considerable. We don't have any that are within, I think, 2 meters plus of the north, and then to all sides, they're set back at least half a meter, if not more.
Actually, this is for the future. Maybe if you come across this kind of question, to me, it's very useful if you actually have some kind of diagram to show the setback in terms of overlook. I think that the setback is actually works much better even than a privacy screen sometimes, because it's just impossible to look down through a roof edge. But if you can show in a diagram to other people who question it, actually you can see the sight line. You have to be quite tall to actually overlook a setback. That's my comment.
I would agree.
Okay, question, please. Yeah,
thank you, Madam Chair. So thank you for your presentation and answering the question. So I think what you're hearing today is not opposition to this type of building. Clearly, it is permitted as of right. And beyond that, this property is located within the St. Clair West PMTSA. Multiplexes are permitted. Laneway suites are permitted. So that's not the issue. But I think what you heard today are concerns about, I think, if I can sort of paraphrase, the size of the development and the impacts. So I want to talk about both of those. So in terms of terminology, we know that the city has pivoted to form-based zoning. And I'll use the 3 terms that seem to be used frequently, and that is massing, scale, and density. And you heard me talk to someone, ask them about the concept of density, but the first 2 are architectural terms. Massing is the size of the building related to the lot. Scale is the relationship of the building to its surrounding. Density is actually represented in the zoning bylaw. Can you talk about the issue of density of this project? And then I'll ask you about impact. And again, I think that the courts have determined that impact is not just the quantity and the size of the variances, but it really comes down to the perceived, whether impacts rise to the threshold of undue adverse impacts. So if you can respond to that one as well.
Certainly, sir. With regard to the idea of density, I'll note a couple of things. The zoning bylaw was amended back in 2023 to remove density as a requirement from multiplexes. That continues to be the case. Site and area specific policy 826, which regulates multiplexes across the city, does not include the prevailing density of buildings as a characteristic in determining their appropriateness and context. And as you mentioned, form-based zoning goes to determining what is the appropriate height, length, setbacks, et cetera, of buildings in a multiplex form. And in this case, in the absence of FSI, I try to look at the balance of setbacks in context, in what's existing on site, and where we need variances for other things related to building form. In this case, we do not have height variances, we do not have a length variance, we do not have a separation distance from the laneway suite variance. We have a front yard and a north side yard setback variance, which are required despite us moving the building in from the current building's position. Yes, it's taller, but again, that's as of right. And then to the south, we meet the setback in most cases, except for a portion of the second and third story toward the rear of the site. And so my perspective on this is, on balance, when I'm looking at the policies of the multiplex site and area specific policy, which intend, this is 826B2, Roman 2, encourages larger units.
Yeah.
When I pushed the architect on this to say, can you make the south side yard comply entirely? The response was, we're going to lose one of the bedrooms. And it makes the stairs challenging as well. And I said, okay, how far can you push it? And so when we went to 0.45 meters for that section, it was for a few reasons. One, to reflect the prevailing characteristic, which you can see on this, the map that's up on the screen now. It's that of narrow side yards. Yeah. If I were to define this street a number of ways, that would be one of the principal characteristics. Mm-hmm. And so all of that on balance, the objectives of the plan, the comments we heard from the neighbors, which I think are important, and we have tried to address them in numerous ways. To me, in that there isn't an actual density number that is prescribed, we have to look at the form-based considerations, the context, the existing structure, and the policy objectives. And I feel that on balance, the proposal reflects those.
Yeah. So excluding the basement, all these 3 units are 3-bedroom units, right?
Yes, I believe one was changed to a 2-bedroom after. Yeah. Let me look at the plans again.
No, I
here.
just want to know the sort of like.
They're all multi-bedroom units.
That's good. Yeah, there's like more like for family or small family. Yes, okay.
The middle one is 2 and the other
Yeah,
two are 3.
that's correct.
Yeah, okay.
And in terms of impact, you haven't gotten to that, but that's fine. I just want to confirm that you've indicated that the north and south side walls, that the windows on those walls will be opaque.
Yes, we can. The intent with the north wall was to position the windows not facing the existing windows to the north. Those can be opaque. I don't know if it's noted on the plans, but happy for that to be added. To the south, the windows that are on the south wall are 1.2 meters back, which is the bylaw compliance setback. So in terms of impact, and just to address it, I think one of the things that we've tried to talk about in our planning rationale was the impact specifically related to the mass of the building. You know, it's a 3-story building with a significant depth or length is permitted on this site with setbacks which very closely resemble the ones that we're requesting here in many cases. And so if I were to create a shadow study, for instance, that compared the as of right to the proposed, they look very, very similar. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, just in case we don't want to ask again, the north windows, all of the north windows will be open?
They'll be opaque.
All of them?
Yeah, there's 2 windows. Yeah.
But then that's what I'm asking. Maybe because of the north side on your floor plans, sort of ambiguous. It's on the side. Okay, it means the blank wall on the long wall. That's north.
Yes,
because
the north.
It's a little obscure. I thought that it was on the facing the backyard. That's north. I thought. Okay.
Those 2 windows face into stairwells, so semi-transparent.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, those two. Okay. Yeah. Any questions, please? Yeah, Peter. Yeah.
Thanks, Chair. Just one, and it's not really related to the variances, but I'm wondering the thinking that you had in terms of putting the units one behind the other instead of doing 1 unit on each floor. And there's a lot of stairs in this building, right? I think like it would have been more efficient and then maybe a slightly smaller box. Or can you just talk to the decision-making process behind that?
Certainly. We and I had a similar conversation on another file about 6 months ago where it's set up more like a loaf of bread as opposed to a cake and or layer cake. And partly because of desirability, what we found in the market is that people want separation of floors, even where there are more stairs, so that there's bedrooms upstairs, not on the same floor as living space. And that's something that has been quite popular in terms of layouts, and a number of architecture firms that we've worked with have approached us with those without us mentioning that it's being a desirable thing. But it's consistent with the definition of the multiplex bylaw, which I know was revisited in 2025. This question came up specifically in the staff report, and staff advised that this was one of the potential layouts for a multiplex, and there's reasons for that that are primarily market related. I can see it. When I put my kids to bed and they're upstairs, I can make a little bit more noise than if they're on the same floor.
Okay, and also, is it because you have mentioned that it might turn into a condo or something, maybe because of the ownership and the maintenance? If it's a common stair, well, you have to have someone to maintain the shared public amenities. But in this way, it's all divided. You're looking after your stair, I look after mine. Is that the idea? Is that right?
That is certainly a benefit of the layout. We could structure a common corridor with common element space as well as needed. That would be needed for access or easements or other aspects of the proposal, but it is helpful. Like the idea is, since it's 3 families, 3 daughters, separately conveyed spaces, and that definitely helps with it, certainly.
Okay, please, yeah.
Real last question. I apologize. I mean it. Are you aware of the comments from Urban Forestry in their May 29th report regarding redesigning walkways, pathways, et cetera?
Yes. And there was one comment that I didn't mention that I didn't respond to, and it was about the permeability of the south pathway. If that has to be permeable, we're happy for that to be the case. Yes. We're required to maintain pre-development flows on the site, and however we can make that easier, we're certainly interested. Okay. I've made sure the architect has talked to Urban Forestry on numerous occasions. They've primarily been engaged with the foundation of the laneway suite regarding tree protection. But yes, we're aware, and we have no objections.
A little bit helps anyway, yeah. Okay, any other questions, please? Okay, now we do not have any more questions. Now we are in committee. Okay. Yeah. Okay, please, Dylan, yeah.
So first of all, I think thank you to the applicant and also to the neighbors for the changes.
Yes.
I don't think this would have been supportable in its original proposal. However, I do think that the changes really make a significant difference. So there's 2 major concerns. One is the side yard setbacks, and the other one is the rooftop. I think the side yard setbacks are very much supportable. It wouldn't be viable to do a building that has 1.2 meters on both sides. The applicant has created basically essentially a 1.2 meter side yard setback on the south side where the entrances are, which I think is really important. The cantilevered section, it's on the upper floors. There's no windows facing south. And I see that, it is a very narrow lot, and you can see the value of having that. So I think that that's a reasonable variance, that small, relatively restrained cantilever that still goes to 0.45, which is kind of a fairly common. Mm-hmm. And I take the point too that, in fact, all of these, the characteristic of this side of the street is close side yard setbacks. Mm-hmm. So again, I don't think it's out of character. On the north side, yes, it'll be a bit more imposing, but 0.45 meters is, I think, similar to what the neighbor has. It's an improvement over the existing condition. So to me, the side yard setbacks are actually extremely supportable. Mm-hmm. I think the real question is the rooftop patios, which do create, they are a variance and they do create increased massing. But I think that the changes made, the stepping those back, really reduces the impact of those. And I take the point that, the backyard is going to be shared between 4 different households. Mm-hmm. And it's the small balconies that they've created are charming, but very small. So I feel like it's been redesigned really to minimize the impact. And I do take the point that those really don't count towards the height variance. It's more about it's more about where outside spaces can be placed. That's the variance. So I think that is, that is pushing things a little bit, but I feel like the changes that made have been really mitigate that. I do hope that the applicant will talk to the neighbors. I don't know whether the neighbors prefer privacy screens or lower guardrails. It depends on whether they're more concerned about privacy and massing, and maybe there'll be some in some location and something else in different locations. I think that that's something that really needs to be negotiated with the neighbors, and it seems to me that the changes that are already made do show a willingness by the applicant to adapt to what the neighbors are looking at. So I look to the applicant and the neighbors to work that out. So overall, I think that this really does meet the goals of the city in terms of creating additional space. I feel like the variances as they've been changed are reasonable, so I can support this.
Okay, thank you. We'll get back to you. It seems that you will be qualified to make a motion, but we will listen to others. Yeah, please, yeah.
Thanks, Chair. I agree with Dylan's comments. I think one of the challenging things with projects like this is that this is a much larger building than what exists on this street. But there's a difference between what exists and what's permitted.
Yeah.
And what's permitted, if a developer were to come here and build basically a box of what's permitted, it would be extremely, extremely close to what we're seeing now. And I think it's hard for people to understand that, and with the understanding that this is going to impact people's quality of life. It's going to, but this size of building is contemplated and has been endorsed by council. And I think that this is a sensitively designed version of that type of massing.
That vision of multiplex or houseplex certainly is a big difference from what it is now there. Yeah, but that's where in line with the policies of the increasing. Yeah, please, yeah, Dino, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, thank you. Yeah, please, yeah, whoever.
Thank you. Yeah, I concur with my colleagues. When we consider our mandate is do the variances being requested satisfy or meet the 4 statutory tests, and those are. Does it satisfy or meet the general intent and purpose of the official plan, the zoning bylaw? Is it desirable for the appropriate use of the land, and is it minor in nature? So I concur that the first 2 tests have been met. The third test, I do think it's a desirable use and it's appropriate use for the property. The fourth test is minor, and with any redevelopment in the city of Toronto or anywhere, there's going to be change and there are going to be impacts. The question becomes for us as a panel is, do those imputed impacts rise to the level of adverse, undue impacts of a planning nature? That is a high bar to reach and satisfy. I think there will always be some impacts, but I have to say that I believe the 4 statutory tests have been met, and so I would support this application, even though I've listened to the applicant and I've listened to those in opposition who have come today, and I really do appreciate it, and I try to understand those residents who have to now continue to live in the neighborhood. But I think this is an appropriate type of development, given what council has endorsed and supported. And I'll support a motion, of course, with conditions.
Yeah, okay. Please, yes.
I just wanted to add my 2 cents. I also agree with my colleagues. I find this supportable. I thank the people that came down and on my street, this similar thing has happened in the beaches. And I will note that almost across the road from this property, there's a 4 or 5 story building that exists. So the mass and scale of buildings and development in the city's always changing. But I look at the merits of this proposal and I do find it quite supportable.
Yes, okay, thank you. I just want to add another, or my 2 cents is that I just want to remind that the zone for this property is RN. So people live in this zone to expect certain changes that will come into place, like for multiplex. And the second thing, I in the beginning, I was worried about the rooftop terrace, but then since they have revised them and put them back, and also I didn't realize that they, as of right, they can build 4 stories. So I would think that this is not that make it worse. As Peter mentioned, that if they were going to build as of right a box, the box will be very similar to what they propose. So that's why I think those are my logic of supporting this application too. So Dylan.
Yeah,
go
so
ahead.
just to wrap up, I do want to speak to the people who came out with concerns, just to emphasize that the proposal has changed and has been improved because they came out, because they spoke originally, because they spoke with the applicant. So it is a better proposal than it was in April, and it's thanks to the neighbors who've come out.
Just this one, if I can. I want to give you a prop about the point you just made about change in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
The official plan does talk about considering development within the existing and planned context, which means what's existing now and what is contemplated in the future. So that was a great point,
Oh,
Madam
that's
Chair.
good, yeah. So, but I just want to remind you, if you're going to make a motion, I'm not too sure about the permeable paving part. I do not know
I think that
whether it's a urban forestry condition or whether it's just a comment.
I think we were going to. I think the applicant said that they're amenable to it, and I think.
So you just put it in
gonna put it
as
in
a
as a
condition?
condition,
Okay, I just want to know.
So for all the reasons that we've discussed, I will move a motion to approve these variances, forestry conditions 1 and 2, with a condition that the north side windows be made of frosted glass.
Yes,
And that the walkway on the south side be made with permeable pavers.
okay. So like 3 conditions, with all those 3 conditions, anyone?
Four
second?
actually, there's 2 forestry conditions.
Yeah, two in the one, in the forestry one. 1 and 2, 1 and 3, you say?
1 and 2.
1 and 2. And who would like to second that motion, please? Okay, yeah, Mr. Business, second. All in favor of those conditions? Or is unanimously approved? That is a long one.
Can we have a little break? 5 minutes?
Through you, Madam Chair, we can do a 5-minute break.
Okay.
Please turn off your videos, microphones. Please mute the room.
Okay. Let me. 17. Yes. 17. Yes. Okay. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, we resume. Yeah. Item 17 is 99 Scarborough Beach Boulevard. This is to alter the existing two-story semi-detached by replacing the existing rear one-story addition and decks with a new two-story addition, including a basement and also a first-level deck with stairs. The existing covered porch with stairs will be maintained and unaltered. We have received copy of the minutes from June 18 and 2025 and July 23rd, 2025 hearing minutes. We receive a survey revised site plan, floor plan elevations, and 3 photographs. And I believe we have actually received 3 oppositions on this file. They're seeking 4 variances. Yes, please.
Through you, Madam Chair, we have the agent online and no speakers for this item? No registered speakers?
No speaker. Okay. All right. Let's have the agent.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, very well. Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you, dear members of the committee.
Just give us your name and address, please, to start. Yeah.
My name is Alexei Sitenko, and I am residing at 71 Avenue Road in Richmond Hill, Ontario.
Okay.
And I'm appearing today on behalf of the homeowners, Angie and Brad.
Yeah. There's no one registered to speak against your application, but because it's been deferred twice, I just want to know in the minutes of the last 2 hearings that you were asked to do certain things. Can you update us on the application, please, whether you have fulfilled those requests? Yeah.
Yes, Madam Chair, we believe we did. So the first referral was due to discrepancy on the drawings. There was one of the dimensions actually moved when we in the final print, and unfortunately we missed that omission.
Mm-hmm.
And the second deferral was due to the fact that we used the original survey that goes back to the original construction of the house,
Mm-hmm.
and we were requested to provide the most recent survey, which we had done. That's why it took some time.
Mm-hmm.
And we assure you that the we fulfill that requirement following the committee request at the previous hearing. We obtained the most recent property survey, and the current survey now incorporated in the latest site plan, and that's
Okay.
what this latest site plan is based on.
So, okay, everything you have, you have fulfilled the requirements. Thank you.
Yes.
So everything's updated. Good. So let me see what, because there's no one else here to speak. Let me see whether the panel wants to have a presentation. No. Do we have questions for him? Yeah. No. And we do not have any questions for you either. And do you have anything, you have updated us on the application. So do you have any other issues you want to address the panel before we're going to make a decision on this? Yeah.
I just want to mention that the original variance, there was only one variance for FSA for the proposed addition. And now with the detailed review from the zoning, because there was change in the zoning review applications, the existing porch, which is circa 1974, the three new additional variances are related to that as constructed conditions that we inherited. And basically, there is no proposed changes. We're just trying to be transparent and documented in the existing condition.
Okay.
So that's the only difference between previous one and this one. And it was purely technicality on the drawings that unfortunately pushed us to the third hearing.
Thank you. Okay. All right. So we are in committee now, or you can still ask questions if you have one. Okay. Now we're in committee.
Yeah, I'm happy to put the
Yeah,
motion
please,
forward
Ryan.
to approve the variances. I see 4 here. I don't believe there are any conditions. So approve the 4 variances, no conditions.
Yeah. Okay. And Peter? Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah. Second, we all in favor for, yes. It's approved unanimously. All in favor, yes.
Madam Chair?
No conditions.
I'm having an issue with my computer. I'm
Oh,
wondering if I can get some
maybe we have to
assistance.
get the staff. Yeah.
Thank you.
Just, we have to wait for a minute. We have some technical.
Through you, Madam Chair, we can proceed. We do have quorum.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to start. Next item is item number 18. It's 326 Strathmore Boulevard. This is to construct a new 2-story detached auxiliary building with a basement, and also it's partially cantilever on the second floor. This building will contain 1 garden suite, and there will be a ground floor south side landing and a basement walkout, and 2 side, one south side window well. The existing rear 1-story auxiliary building, which is a garage and auxiliary structure, which is a pagoda, will be demolished. There will be a total of 2 residential units on this lot, one in the main building and the other one is in the auxiliary building. We have received a survey, site plan, floor plan, elevations, 9 photographs, and also we have received correspondent in concern or interest from 145 Wolverine Boulevard and also 141 Wolverine Boulevard. And we have oppositions from 145 Wolverine Boulevard. And we are ready for the agent.
Through you,
or
Madam Chair.
applicant.
Just before we get to the speakers, the opposition is from 143.
143, yeah.
And we did receive a very late report from TTC.
Oh, okay.
Imposing conditions number 1 and 5 if the
Oh,
committee
okay.
finds merit to approve the application.
Okay. TTC condition 1 and 5, okay. Got it. All right. So they are seeking 2 variances on this application. So we are ready for the agent or applicant?
Madam Chair, we have the agent online and 2 speakers in opposition.
2 speaker opposition, okay.
Good afternoon, honorable members of the committee.
Yes.
My name is Fazan Akhtar of FA Engineering. Address is 1237 Woodbine Avenue, Toronto, Ontario, M4C4E5.
Yes. You do have some people would like to speak in opposition to your application. So you're required to give us a 5 minutes presentation. But do you have a presentation you want to bring up on the
Yes.
screen first?
Sure, it's just going to be the plans.
Yeah, let's bring up his plans, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, essentially we're proposing a garden home that is intended to house the owner's growing family.
Okay.
In terms of the zoning aspects there, we have complied with pretty much everything except and along with the setbacks. There are 2 items that we are before the committee in order to resolve those items. They are resulting from due to the separation between the main wall of the home itself and the garden home. If you enlarge the site plan there, you can see that the rear main wall of the home itself is actually 8 meters away from the garden home, which complies with the requirements. But there is an enclosed walkout at the back, right? And the zoning examiner, they're measuring the separation between the home and the garden unit from that enclosed walkout wall.
I see.
And that is giving rise to the 2 variances that we are seeking. And the homeowner, they're looking to maintain that enclosed walkout because it provides weatherproofing during winter season. We have also consulted with community planning, and they're satisfied with the proposal. We've worked with the designer and gotten rid of some of the windows on the rear main wall of the garden suite. So there are no privacy concerns for the neighbors that are backing onto the garden unit there. And the homeowner himself was able to arrange some of the support petition from about 9 neighbors. There is a precedence of a similar garden home on 329 Strathmore. I think they were looking for almost 9 variances, while we are only here for about 2 variances there, right?
Okay.
That's about it.
Yes.
Sorry, I just want to question.
Please.
Wait, did you say that you say you'd made some changes in terms of the windows, or what were you saying about the windows?
Yeah, so we worked with the designer there, and we removed there were windows that were on the second floor, rear yard that were removed.
So on the second floor, you've removed.
There were 2 windows that were there initially that we had removed.
Okay, but sorry, on which walls?
On the rear wall.
On the rear wall. Okay, but they're on the second floor.
On the second floor. I think this is the second floor plan, right? So
sorry.
Initially,
on the screen.
Oh, I see. So the plans we see have those removed already.
Yeah, they've already they've been removed already.
Okay, thanks. I just want to clarify that.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah. So please, you have a question?
Do we have opposition?
Yeah,
Should
we do
wait?
have opposition. Yeah, we have two people who want
Okay,
to.
I just asked for clarification.
Oh, yeah, clarification is fine.
If staff can put up the site plan again, which we just had on the screen. Right there, yeah, thank you. So to the applicant, I'm looking at the drawing, and one of the both variances talk about a 5.2 meter separation distance, and I'm looking at the separation distance on the site plan, and you have a number of measurements between the rear of the main house and the front of the proposed garden suite. So you have 8.01 meters from the rear wall of the main house to the proposed landing, is that correct?
Yeah, to the rear main wall from the rear main wall of the main home to the front main wall of the garden
suite. Okay, so that's that one. Then the next one below is 7.52 meters, and that's from the rear wall of the home to the overhang above. Sorry?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Then in very, very small text, you have I believe that's the variance, 5.19
Yeah,
meters.
5.19 meter. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so that's measured from where to where?
From the the enclosed walkout to the main wall of the garden home.
And that's where the separation distance variances come into play.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, then below that you have another measurement, 7.55, that's outlining the proposed overhang above to the rear of the wall of the main home. And then you have 8.06 meters, which is from the rear wall of the main home to where?
To the actual between the two main walls, right?
Okay. All right. I'll give you a recommendation. When you have those kinds of measurements, it's wise to have an X where the line ends so that we know where it's being measured from and to.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'll the design it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So we wait. Will you have more questions? We can do it after we hear the two other oppositions. Yeah.
Madam Chair, now we can hear from speaker at 145 Boulevard.
Your recording time is about to expire.
Okay.
Through Madam Chair, we can move to our next speaker from 141 Boulevard.
Okay. Sure.
Elizabeth Chang, 141 Wolverley Boulevard. Can everybody hear me?
Good. Very well. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. We are concerned about the proposed development at 326 Strathmore Boulevard because of its potential impact on a mature tree located on 145 Wolverley Boulevard property, which is adjacent to the proposed development. This tree with a diameter of 46 centimeters is an important part of the community and contributes to the neighborhood's character. It provides environmental benefits and has likely been part of the community for several decades. The proposed basement excavation and foundation work may damage the tree's root system, affecting its long-term health and stability. Before any approval is granted, I believe an independent arborist assessment and a detailed tree protection plan should be required. We're also concerned about the setback in the size and location of the proposed two-story structure. Its proximity to neighboring properties, combined with the second-story windows, will result in significant privacy impacts as it will look over into our backyard seating area, increased shadowing, and a loss of open space between the homes. These effects would alter the character of the existing residential environment and diminish the enjoyment of the neighboring properties, including ours. While I support the reasonable development in the neighborhood, I respectfully ask the committee to carefully consider the long-term impacts of this proposal and ensure that the adequate protections are in place for both the mature tree and the surrounding residents before making a decision. Thank you for your consideration.
Okay. Any question to this speaker, please? Yep. No. Yeah. All right. Thank you. So we can go back to the first one.
Through Madam Chair, we have tried multiple attempts to reach the speaker from 145 Wolverley Boulevard. We'll give one more call to try.
Leave a message after the tone.
Okay, I think we have tried it, and it's not available. Okay, so let's bring back the applicant. Yeah, and we can ask him question, and he's going to give us the rebuttal for the opposition's issues. Yeah.
Hi,
But
am I online?
Faizan, you have been unmuted.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, so I think that the rear side neighbors' major concern is about the tree there. So we're okay to engage in an arborist there, and the committee of adjustment, they can place a condition on the approval that we'll get clearance from the forestry, because I think that's one thing that she is requesting, and I think committee has put in conditions like that before as well. So we're okay with getting clearance from forestry.
Yeah. So that will be forestry condition 1. 2 is it? Okay.
Would you be willing to have a condition that you get an arborist report?
Yes, sure, that's fine. Okay. I mean, the forestry will require an arborist report anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's
I think that would be helpful and alleviate the concerns of the neighbors.
Sure.
Do you have anything more? Can I ask some further
exactly.
questions?
But you do not have anything else to address the panel. We are ready to make a.
That's a question.
Oh yeah, question, please. Go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. My other question is in terms of privacy. You do have a lot of windows kind of overlooking the neighbor yards. Would you be like, I'm looking at your plan, and you have some good size windows facing the main, on the second floor facing the main house, which should provide plenty of light. I'm wondering if you'd be willing to have a condition that the windows on the east and west sides that overlook the neighbors would be frosted. Would that be okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Frosted window, frosted glass, right?
Yeah, exactly. Frosted glass, because I think that would help. Like, it does. You do create oversight, and I think that would help alleviate the concerns of the neighbors as well.
Perfect. That's perfectly fine.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
What floors are those windows? What?
On the second floor,
Second floor.
on the east and west side.
Okay, the second floor. All right. Yes, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So a quick question. So I noticed that there are actually 3 levels to the proposed garden suite, correct?
Yeah, the basement and main and second.
And why would a basement be included?
They want it mostly for storage and recreation purposes. They have teenage kids, so essentially the garden home will be housing the teenagers, right?
Oh, so that was my next question. This is for multi-generational purposes. In other words.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so it's not going to be rented out. It's not going to be marketed at this point.
Not at this point.
Okay. So you understand that the 2 variances that you're requesting are related to the separation distance, which then triggers a variance for height as well.
Correct.
Why were you not able to satisfy the separation distance, which 7.5 meters when you have a 2-story garden suite, that's the minimum separation distance?
Yeah, 7.5 meters is the minimum, right? The only way we would have been able to satisfy it is by demolishing that enclosed walkout. And like I mentioned, right, we've consulted with the homeowners, and they want to maintain the walls around that walkout for weatherproofing around in wintertime, right? Apart from that, we are over the 7.5 limit. If the site plan can be brought up again, we're around 8 meters for the separation between the main wall and the garden home. It is a fairly large property lot itself. And I mean, in terms of the garden unit itself, we are within the required 60 square meter footprint of the garden home. So, and that would be sufficient to house their teenagers until they grow out of it.
Yeah, I was out there, I saw the property, I noticed that there's a one-story garage in the rear, which is a rather, it's not a small garage. All right, and you know that, or do you know that the city recently undertook a review of garden suites, and for the one-story garden suite, they reduced the separation distance from 5 meters to 4 meters, but they didn't do that to the separation distance for the two-story. That was done on purpose. They didn't want to touch that because it's a minimum 7.5 meter, which the city sees as an area for consolidated open space with the potential for obviously protecting trees, planting trees, et cetera. I have a bit of a concern. I understand that the separation distance relates to that walkout, but that walkout is a one-story walkout, right?
Yeah, it's a single story walkout, just enclosed walls around there. And also one more thing that I wanted to point out is that we are maintaining the soft landscaping requirements. We're the variance is not relating to the soft landscaping, which we worked hard towards maintaining.
All right, thank you.
Okay, okay, and please, yeah.
Just to address any concerns, would you be willing to if we tied the approval to the site plan too, just so that we're establishing that it's really just that walkout that we're making exception to if we do approve?
Of course, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
All right, thanks.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, we don't have any questions. Please, yeah, go ahead. We are in committee now. Okay. Please.
So I think it's really important to address the tree issue. So I'm going to provide two conditions for that. But otherwise, really, it's really a very small proportion that is a variance.
Yes.
Almost the entire building is, set back as required. So I feel like this is a minor variance because it's a very small bit that's really triggering this. I also noticed that they actually designed the second story overlook to actually come in where it meets that, which I think is a nice touch, right? So they've kind of spoken to that thing by not having the overhang. It kind of goes in at that point. So they've tried to mitigate that. I understand the desire to have a safe walk in, and it's just one story. So to me, this is minor, and it's really a very desirable. It's a good location for a garden suite, a spacious backyard. They otherwise meet all of the requirements. So I think this is supportable with a series of conditions.
Okay.
I'll wait for a motion in case anyone else wants to speak.
You can make a motion.
Anyone else want to speak? Okay. So I'll make a motion to approve these variances with several conditions.
Yes.
Tying it to the site plan, that on the second floor, the east and west windows be frosted.
Yes.
That the applicant get an arborist report and tree protection plan to the satisfaction of the head of forestry and forestry condition number 2.
And forestry condition 2, and also there's a TTC.
And also, right, thank you, yes, and the TTC conditions 1 and 5.
Condition 1 and 5, yeah. Before this, I think if you consider the arborist forestry 2 conditions, so it's 5 conditions.
Yeah.
Who would like to second? Please, Peter second. All in favor of the conditions? All in favor, it's unanimously approved with conditions. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, the next item is 9. Okay. All right, next item is item 19, 4 BRAEMORE Gardens. This is to alter the existing 2-story detached dwelling by constructing a 2-story rear addition with a ground floor deck and stairs, and which including an outdoor kitchen and planter box. We receive a survey, site plan, floor plan elevations, 3 photographs, and cover letter, and an arborist report from agent. We also received comment from Urban Forestry and corresponding in support from number 2 BRAEMORE Gardens. That's all we have received, and we're ready for the agent or applicant. Yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair, we have the agent online and no speakers for this item.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Sean Galbraith, planner here on behalf of the application, 18 King Street East, Suite 1400, Toronto.
Okay. It seems that you do not have any oppositions, and do you have any? What is on the screen? Is that a revision?
So in discussions with the immediate neighbor to the east, there was originally a gentleman's agreement, let's call it, to reduce the depth of the second floor by 2 feet.
Okay.
This was done a bit late in the process. And so we weren't sure if we were going to get a revised zoning notice in time.
Okay.
We just got it this afternoon. And so what's before you is the redlined public notice. The actual proposed FSI doesn't change. The amount of difference was very small. It was essentially within the rounding error. But the square footage changes a little bit.
Okay.
So in order for you to have the correct number in front of you, this is
so it's still 6.69 times. That's still the same.
it's still 0.69. Yeah.
Okay. That's all we know. And there's
There's a corresponding set of drawings. There was also submitted if you wanted to see what that looked like. The change would only be on the second floor drawing. The footprint doesn't change. That one there. Yep. There's at the far left side, you can see there's a 2 foot setback. Just a little bit. You can see the dimension. Anyway, that there it is. You can see that 2 foot dimension. So that was
pulled back.
The second floor was pulled back 2 feet, and the neighbor was appreciative of that change. And so we've made it.
I just confused. You pull back 2 feet, and also for the full length, right? How come it will not reduce this the GFA the size? It's only 0.61 deep, and it's only half the width of the building. It's half. Yeah. So it's just in the square footage terms, it's a small amount over the area of the property, and so it doesn't actually change the FSI. It just changes the amount of square footage. I don't know whether I can agree with you, because it's 2 feet times 13 and almost 14 feet. That's like 26. Will that not change your FSI? I thought that it's good. I mean, it's reduced, but we provided the committee with a copy of the revised zoning notice. Okay. So this has been confirmed by the zoning examiner. Oh, okay. That's what they determined. That's the size. All right. So I right there. Yeah. Okay. Because I trust you, but I thought that is it's surprised that it will not change the number. Okay. In any event, if we're off by a little bit, that step back is going to be provided in agreement with the neighbors. So and also we saw the urban forestry condition request, and we have no concerns with that. We expected it. So in that case, if we're going to make a motion, maybe we can tie it to the second floor plan to show the pullback, right? Okay. So we do not need a presentation. More questions, please. No. We do not have any more questions for you. We are ready for. We are in committee. Yeah, for the discussion. Yeah, please. So yes, please. Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a modest redevelopment of renovation of the existing two-story detached house. I think and it's on a unique lot context, cul-de-sac. I think in reality, the FSI increase is actually not that great. And I believe that the applicant has provided previous Committee of Adjustment approvals within the neighborhood, and these fall within that. And so there are no variances for building length, depth, or landscaping, soft landscaping. So Understanding that there's a gentleman's agreement that has now come through with respect to the second floor, I'm prepared to move a motion to amend this application as amended, or support this application as amended and grant the 2 variances, subject to tying this to the second floor elevations. I think you brought that up, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
And a condition, urban forestry condition number 2.
Okay, want the second, Peter? Yeah.
Can I just check,
Yeah,
do
please.
we have the updated second floor plans? Yeah?
Yes,
We
that's
do.
what he's.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. And are you seconding too? Yeah, yeah. Okay, with the amended agenda, all in favor? Yeah. All in favor is approved with the conditions and also the amended agenda and tied to the second floor plan. Okay, so our next item is item 20 is 3 Lumbervale Avenue. This is to alter the existing 2-story semi-detached dwelling by constructing a rear second-story addition, which is above the existing first-floor addition, and a rear basement walkout. We have received survey, site plan, floor plan elevation, 2 photographs, and a cover letter from agent. We also have received correspondence in support. It's from 1298 College Street. We haven't received any opposition. Yeah. So
Okay, Madam Chair, we have the agent online and no speakers for this item.
Okay. Do we got him connected?
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you now. So,
Okay, excellent. Yes, I'm the agent, Deborah Mesher, and my number is, my address is 198 Melita Avenue, Toronto.
okay. Your application has no opposition, so I'm going to see whether the panel wants a presentation from you. No, we do not need a presentation from you. We might have questions, though. No, we do not have any question either. Do you have anything you want to address the panel before we just move into discussion for a decision? Yeah.
No, just to clarify that, I mean, the FSI, the existing FSI is actually 0.93 and we're asking for 1.0. So it's not jumping from 0.69 to 1.0. I just wanted to say that.
Oh, okay, sorry. Just can you repeat that? Is variance the number 1? Or?
Oh yeah, yeah, the density variance. I just
Yes.
wanted to state that the existing FSI is 0.93 already.
Already, I see. Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I see. So you just making a very small increase. That's what you mean, right? Yeah. From the existing, I mean. Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? No, we don't have any more questions. We're ready. Yeah, please, Peter. Yeah.
Thanks, Chair. I'm happy to take this because I think it's a very minor application. There's a slight increase in GFA, and it's a small addition over an existing 1-story. There's no change in footprint, and it's on a pretty densely packed lot. And this doesn't go nearly as deep as many other of the buildings on that lot. And so I can see no negatives to negative impacts of approving this. So I move approval without condition.
Okay. Yeah, Dino second, we have a second, and we have all in favor with no conditions, all in favor. It's approved unanimously, thank you. The last item is 21, is 628 Road Avenue, and is to alter the existing two-story detached dwelling by replacing the existing rear deck with new two-story addition, and is partially cantilever with a first floor porch and stair. We received a survey site plan, floor plan elevation, 5 photographs, and also a comparable approval from the agent. We also received corresponding from 626, or it's the same address, two individuals from Rose Avenue. That's all.
Through you, Madam Chair, we have the agent online and one speaker in interest also online.
Interest, we take it as a opposition, right?
Maybe we can unmute the speaker and we can just
Ask
let them know.
whether they want to say.
Hello.
Hello?
Hi, Sergio Castrello, 630 Rhodes Avenue.
Oh, we just want to know whether you are in opposition or you just have a concern or.
I have a concern. I'm in favor. I just wanted to make sure the side yard, right now he has access to the backyard through the hallway between 630 Rhodes and 628. Once this addition is done, he won't have access to his backyard because he would have to go into 630 backyard to access it.
Okay, we
So
can.
that's it. I just wanted to make sure that it's clear.
I say, yeah, we have the agent to provide us with his response on this. Okay, yeah, thank you. Now let's have the agent now. Yeah, or the applicant if they have no.
Brad, you have been unmuted.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Great. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the panel.
Yes.
I'm happy to give a little talk just about the presentation in general or address the question.
Actually, that's the one thing I want to check with the panel, whether they require full presentation or just to address that issue the previous speaker raised, whether you are aware of it. Yeah. That's access to the backyard. I'm not really too sure about the context, but
Yeah, I'm not sure about that as well. 630 being to the north of the property, there's not really much access between those two houses as it exists. 628 accesses the rear yard from the south side between 626 and 628.
So, okay, so we will just consider that it's been addressed and you probably have to deal with it why so there's some issues coming up. They don't know. Or it does not affect any of these variances, right?
I don't believe so.
Okay. All right, so now we can ask questions, please, yeah? No questions? Okay, we do not have any, it seems that we have a question.
Maybe we should,
Yeah.
so I'm just checking the minimum side yard setbacks. It says 0.03 from the south lot line and 0.27 from the north lot line. I know that the plan is just to continue the existing, so those must be the existing side yard setbacks?
It's very close. We are adding some additional insulation and refreshed cladding on the exterior.
Okay.
But overall, the structure of the addition will align with the existing. And the south side property line is quite close to the existing home. There is sort of an easement or something between the two properties, though. So we've shown that on the diagrams and the distance between the two houses as well.
Right. So on the south side, even though you're kind of on the property line, you benefit from an easement that allows you to use that extra space between you and the other building.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to clarify that. I think that was important to clarify given the concern of the neighbor. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Okay. It seems the what is on the screen is very different from the survey. The survey seemed to have so the south side is a lot closer to the property line, but it seemed to be different. That's why I was confused.
I think what they're saying is that although the south side is almost directly on the property line, there's some kind of easement with the neighbor on the south side. So you see that the neighbor has quite a large
Yeah, they
setback,
do
and
have that
apparently,
easement to.
you know, there's an easement where they can use that for.
No, what I'm saying is, I understand that. I'm saying that this drawing, the surveys shows maybe the true dimension, but the drawings that we just saw, it seems that is
Yeah, it
it's
sort of
very,
implies that there's an
yeah,
extra
very
space.
different. Yeah, It's
You are
got more
correct. I know I was
space, yeah.
confused by that.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah, so we based on the survey, right? Okay, yeah. Any other questions, please? Yeah. Yeah.
For committee.
Yes, please. Yeah, we are committee. Yeah, okay. We have no question. We are in committee.
Yeah. So I think this is the new norm for roads. A lot of those small houses are being expanded. I find the variances to be quite minor. I think the development's appropriate. I know Rhodes Ave got popular a few years ago. People started referring to it as Rhodesdale.
Really? Okay, yeah.
So I don't think there's any condition, so I'll move forward with proposing approval of the 3 variances.
That's good to hear. We have a second, please. Oh, there no second. All in favor with no conditions? All in favor? It's approved unanimously. Thank you. And that marks the end of today's hearing that at 4:21. Official clock. They know. Okay. Okay, thank you so much for everybody. Have a good evening. Yes.